Greetings, Mavericks and new viewers. Tonight, direct and live from the Maverick News Network World Studios. This is Maverick News with Rick Walker.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the Maverick News channel. Great to have everyone here. The Republican National Convention has just kicked off. We're going to go there live in just a moment. We'll be providing coverage through the broadcast tonight. We will bring you up to date on what is going on with the investigation into the Trump assassination attempt. We'll talk about J.D. Vance, President Trump's pick for a running mate. A big surprise to me, I was wrong. I predicted wrong, and I have to own that. But you'll see why this is such a surprise to me when we get into some of the details. Dragon will be joining us later in the broadcast to help us make sense of some of the craziness from over the past few days, including the wounding of President Trump in Pennsylvania. What else do we have? We have some Canadian news, a little bit of Canadian news as well. Did you know today is carbon tax credit day? Yeah, I guess if you're lucky enough to be one of those people cash in on the tax rebate, today's the first day. I don't know how Justin Trudeau does his math. If you're getting a carbon tax rebate, please let me know. I'd love to talk to somebody who's getting it. RFK Jr. and the question of Secret Service protection. Will he get it? Won't he? It looks like he's going to. We'll tell you why. And I don't know what else to tell you. That's kind of where things are at the moment. But we'll keep tabs on the top stories of today. And when we come back on the other side of this, we'll go live to the GOP convention in Milwaukee. Stay with me.
Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are Maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals, defenders of individual rights and freedoms, credible, trusted, grounded in reality. Maverick News. Defending free speech. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
Okay, let's go live to the GOP convention in Milwaukee right now.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now, to perform the national anthem, please welcome the Great Lakes Adult and Teen Challenge Choir. Please remain standing while the colors are retired.
Right face. Forward march. Left. 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 Left.
Okay, so they're just getting things started there in Milwaukee. Trump was there, I guess, and he said yesterday that he could not let the bullet of a would-be assassin, couldn't let that stop him from going to the convention. He said he was originally going to delay his attendance there, but nope. Kept his schedule, hopped on that plane, and Milwaukee bound he was. So the convention kicking off tonight. And today, in a surprise, he announced that J.D. Vance is going to be his running mate. Big surprise to me. I think to probably a bunch of people, because Vance has been a critic in the past of Trump. Pretty major critic, actually. However, Trump on Truth Social posting this. Let me show you. Here's Trump's statement. So today he did this to the and I thought it was going to be Marco Rubio, so I was wrong. I did not get it right. He said, after lengthy deliberation and thought and consideration, the tremendous talents of many others, I have decided that the person best suited to assume the position of Vice President of the United States is Senator J.D. Vance of the great state of Ohio. J.D. honorably served our country in the Marine Corps, graduated from Ohio State University in 2 years, summa cum laude, and is a Yale Law School graduate, where he was editor of the Yale Law Journal and president of the Yale Law Veterans Association. JD's book, Hillbilly Elegy, it became a major bestseller and movie as it championed the hardworking men and women of our country. JD has had a very successful business career in technology and finance, and now during the campaign will be strongly focused on the people he fought so brilliantly for, the American workers and farmers in Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Ohio, Minnesota, and far beyond. There's a picture of J.D. Vance, Trump's new vice president, so declared on Truth Social. So why am I so surprised? Well, because he has had extremely harsh words for Trump in the past. In fact, here's an excerpt from a Fox News interview where we're not actually hearing from J.D. Vance in this exact clip, but he's sitting there, and just listen to the way this is teed up.
This is an evolution, and I know you've been asked about this before, about past comments that you've made about Donald Trump. You've said, I'm a never Trump guy, never liked him, terrible candidate, idiot if you voted for him, might be America's Hitler, might be a cynical a-hole, cultural heroine, noxious and reprehensible. Those are things. This is an evolution, and I know.
So I don't know. And this guy's going to be his VP pick. Okay. Well, I guess things can change. Opinions vary. Opinions change over time. But it surprises me. I just I don't get it. But okay, here we go. It's JD Vance, not Marco Rubio. And this will please some and disturb others because of JD Vance's position on Ukraine. Listen to this clip.
I think it's ridiculous that we're focused on this border in Ukraine. I got to be honest with you. I don't really care what happens to Ukraine one way or another.
Why do I have a feeling that the war is about to end? And not in a good way for Ukraine. If Trump is elected and that's his VP pick, I don't know. Who knows? But hey, maybe he's changed his position on Ukraine too. I have no idea. It's perplexing to me. What is this? Rick's joining the. I have no idea what that means, Jesse. I don't know. What is that? Rick's joining. I don't. Whatever. Oh, maybe my microphone is screwed up here. Yep. There's that better. Stupid computer. Everything went wonky just before we came on the air. How's that? That's better audio now, right? Yeah. Very sorry about the audio, folks. Yeah, I would not have picked JD Vance. Thank you, Merrick. Appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you, Dragon. See you soon. And yes, thank you, Sandy. Finally. Yeah. However, it doesn't take me long. Only a couple of days to get clued in. Let's go back to the RNC convention in Milwaukee. Here we go.
Only President Trump can unite us and restore our economy, rebuild our southern border, and regain our standing in the world. When I became chairman of the RNC, I pledged to do 3 things to make that happen. First, we are going to get out the vote. Second, we are going to protect the ballot. And third, we are going to hold a world-class convention. As long as I am your chairman, these will be the RNC's only priorities, because our number one objective is to win this election. I am pleased to say that tonight we are kicking off the biggest and best convention in the history of the Republican Party, and we are united. This election is not just about the next 4 years. It's about future generations of Americans to come. I am so proud to serve as the chairman of your Republican National Committee and to open this convention. And I am so proud to work with all of you to elect Donald J. Trump as our president and JD Vance as our vice president. And to make America wealthy again, safe again, strong again, and to make America great again. Thank you.
Okay. Things getting underway. It'll be a big crescendo, a big build-up to Trump's speech. And a big win today The Florida judge overseeing Donald Trump's classified documents trial dismissed the case on the grounds that the appointment of and funding for special counsel Jack Smith was illegal. Eileen Cannon, the U.S. District Judge, who is a Trump nominee, filed a 93-page decision stating that Smith's appointment was unlawful and unconditional. The clerk is directed to close the case, the judge wrote. The decision, of course, comes today on this first day of the Republican National Convention. It also follows this milestone moment in American history, the attempted assassination of Donald Trump over the weekend. And Trump, very pleased with the decision. And he says he's just very happy. He wants all the other charges against him thrown out too, obviously. And White House spokesperson referred inquiries on the Trump classified documents from media today to the Department of Justice. So a huge win. And I would say that that previous ruling anyway on immunity sort of made this entire case kind of moot anyway. Not that I'm an expert or a lawyer on U.S. law, but what can I tell you? I'll tell you this too. We have, isn't this weird? Look at what's popping up in my feed. Talk about being spied on. I've been researching, things with words like assassination in it and so on, because of the Trump attempted assassination. I'm getting ads like this in my feed. Look at this. Isn't this is crazy? I'm fine. T-shirts, shirts with fake blood stains all over them, as though you'd been shot. Oh, that's morbid. Okay, just saying. And the merchandise. Apparently, it took only like 2 or 3 hours, and the Chinese were already out there producing and selling T-shirts to capitalize on the attempted killing of Donald Trump. But I have to confess, I'm guilty as well, because what I have done is I have put together these T-shirts. It made me realize that what we need to do, maybe, if there's support for this, if this is something that you guys want, is when we have milestone moments in news, we can produce merchandise to commemorate those moments. As I've been saying over the past couple of days, the shooting of Trump is one of those moments where, when that happened, if you were on that day at that time, you will always remember where you were. It will be forever embedded in your mind, in your memory, the collective memory of America and Canada too, but especially America. It's one of those moments, like the JFK assassination, the explosion of the Challenger space shuttle, many milestone moments in history. If you were there, or if you were witnessing them even on television or online, it's just one of those things that you'll always remember vividly for the rest of your life. And this was a moment that will echo through time and will forever be an iconic moment in American history. So with that, I have created 2 new T-shirt designs. There's this one, Fighting for Freedom. So I produced that one today. And then, taking inspiration from some other designs, I mean, that's the instantly iconic image that was produced because of Trump's defiance in the face of danger. And then this one. So 2 different t-shirts designed. Only one way to get these exact designs, and that is to donate to Maverick News. So any donation of $30 or more, and I can send you one of these t-shirts. $30 or more, and we can get these printed and shipped off to you. Just let me know what size you want. Available in any color you want, as long as it's black again. And yeah, you can, I guess, pay tribute to Trump, but also in the process, support Maverick News, free speech, free media, freedom, because that's what we're all about right here. I'm particularly fond of that one, Fighting for Freedom, an amazing image captured, and this artistic rendering, which I produced today. I like that one myself, but we also have this. Now we'll need a certain number. We'll need at least a dozen of these sold, or, a dozen orders. If you donate 30 or more, I'll send you one of these, but we'll need to have at least a dozen of them produced, and we'll get these things cranked out. So I appreciate that. You can donate to the channel. Something has gone a little bit crazy here with somebody's been in here. There we go. All right. So where can you donate? Well, you can donate to support the channel at maverickdonations.com. Let me find this here. I think we're in the right place. Yep. I believe so, right there. Yes, maverickdonations.com. You can also donate at freedomreporters.com. The maverickdonations.com is the Give, Send, Go. freedomreporters.com is the PayPal. So either way, you can support the channel. Please give us a thumbs up tonight on the YouTube channels. Let's see if we can get to 100 thumbs up on the YouTube channels, thumbs up on the Rumble channels as well. You can also donate through the Rumble Rants, which works just like the Super Chat over on Rumble. And giving us thumbs up, that doesn't cost you anything. Please like, share, subscribe. That also helps us out a great deal and pushes us up in the algorithm. So I'd appreciate that very much if you wouldn't mind supporting the channel that way. And again, freedomreporters.com or maverickdonations.com. That's how you can donate. Any donation of $30 or more, I can send you either one of those Trump Fighting for Freedom t-shirts, or if you want just a regular Maverick News t-shirt, I can certainly do that as well. $60 or more, and I can send you one of these shirts with a Maverick News embroidered logo on it. And I'm going to take a quick break, and then we'll come back, and our coverage of the Republican National Convention will continue, and we have some other top stories of the day to share with you as well. And don't go away, because Dragon's coming up.
You know, someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
Well, I think it's time we ask ourselves if we still know the freedoms that were intended for us by the Founding Fathers. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on Earth.
The entire world is watching.
Every dictator, every crazy dictator in the world is watching.
The world is watching on TV, The entire world is watching.
On social media. But the entire world is watching, and yes, they are seeing what we have apparently bravely been willing to say that others are thinking.
Stand for freedom. Literally stand for freedom. Let's get this done. The entire world is watching.
We're at war with the most dangerous enemy that has ever faced mankind in his long climb from the swamp to the stars.
Maverick News. Maverick News. Maverick News.
Let me have more control of my own destiny.
The world is watching.
The New World Order. Government overreach. The Great Reset. Mainstream media lies. Now more than ever, independent voices are needed. Donate now, at freedomreporters.com. That's freedomreporters.com. Maverick News. The antivirus program. For your mind.
Okay, so I may sneeze at any moment, just be forewarned. So the investigation into the attempted assassination of Trump continues. What do we know tonight? Well, we know that the cops got a hold of the would-be assassin's cell phone. They're still going through it. Thomas Crooks, 20 years old, going through his phone, and yet we still really don't know much of anything about the possible motive in this. Now, the other thing that caught my attention today personally was the statement from authorities saying that they don't really know how Crooks gained access to the roof of the building, which provided line of sight to the area where Trump was speaking. We also have learned that that was a staging area, that the area around the building where the gunman climbed up on the roof, apparently that was a staging area for the local police who were there to oversee the crowd. And how that guy got up there, how he went undetected, we're not really sure. We're also seeing reports tonight that he may have been seen as much as a half an hour beforehand by an officer who reported him as a suspicious person or something to that effect. Some of these details still kind of sketchy at this time and even contradictory, difficult even to decipher between what is real fact and credible information and what isn't. I'm doing my very best for you in that regard. A lot of clickbait artists out there. There is for instance, a post that is circulating, going viral, honestly, with an image of the sniper, the Secret Service sniper who shot the would-be assassin. And there's text, and I won't show it to you, but there's text next to the image of the Secret Service sniper saying, as though it's a statement from that sniper, saying that he had been ordered not to fire until after the shooter had taken shots at Trump. Now, I seriously doubt that's the case. I think that's probably just a fabrication. But what I saw overnight was some live streamers, podcasters using it as clickbait. One in particular sitting there on his program saying, you know, I'm not here to spread rumors, but look at this. This is a question that needs to be answered. And then, well, he said he wasn't going to use it as clickbait. That's exactly what he did. He he used that to generate a lot of traffic on his channel, saying that he had no reason to spread that kind of information. No reason at all, except to just ask the question. But then 30 seconds later, made reference to his channel acquiring another 20,000 subscribers because of the way he was using that information. So don't sit there and tell me, man, that people are not using fear mongering, conspiracy theories to just build a following and build channels out there online. He's that guy sitting there on the one hand, in one breath saying that he's got no reason to provide or to I guess sensationalize the story is what I'm saying, and then in the very next breath acknowledging that by doing that he generated 20,000 additional subscribers in that single online stream. And I'll tell you, I mean, I could do stuff like that here too, but that's not what we're about. We're trying to deal in facts here as much as possible in the face of this ongoing tsunami of sensationalism, fabrication, artificial intelligence generated clickbait, just fake crap that's out there, and speculation coming from people who really, honestly, most of them, well, they just don't know. They're not the investigators. They haven't anything they're sharing or saying is largely just speculation. And it has just been rampant since President Trump was shot. Now, Trump acknowledging today that part of his ear is actually gone as a result of being wounded in that attack. And he is one lucky soul, I'll tell you that. One lucky guy. Just a millimeter more this way or that way, and he would not be with us any longer. And we would have something much different happening tonight in Milwaukee than we're seeing. Instead of a defiant celebration, it would have been a wake. Now, what else can I tell you? I'll tell you, some people were, I can't believe how gross some people are, how insensitive, how inhuman they really have become in the wake of this. Here's Jack Black in Canada last night at a concert saying this. Just why would someone, unbelievable. I can't believe he would even say this.
Don't miss Trump next time. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. I just don't even know what to say when I see stuff like that. Leaves me speechless. Yeah. Okay. Let me just take a break, gather my thoughts, and we're going to go back to the convention here shortly. Stay with me.
Maverick News. The world is watching. Maverick News. Fighting for freedom.
Okay, back we go to Milwaukee.
And let me state this clearly.
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
There are only two genders. And we are made in God's image. Amen. And we won't shy away from speaking that simple truth ever. The Democrats ripped open our borders and allowed millions of illegal aliens to pour in, driving up the cost of housing and health care while slashing American wages and eliminating jobs. They claim that our economy is thriving, yet hundreds of thousands of American-born workers lost their jobs these past few years. The Democrats' economy is of, by, and for illegal aliens. Our open borders have also unleashed the worst drug crisis in American history. Yet while hundreds of thousands of Americans are suffering, the Democrats spent over $175 billion, your tax dollars, to secure Ukraine's borders. But they tell us the border wall is too expensive. But an American government that serves the interests not of the wealthy, the globalist, or the powerful few, but of all hardworking Americans is within our grasp. Donald Trump has, and he will, make America successful again. He will make us wealthy again. And as God as my witness, he will finally give us the country we deserve. Because Donald John Trump is the leader America deserves. God bless the American people. God bless President Trump, and God bless the United States of America.
Okay, we'll go back in a few moments. You know, the other thing that, well, let me just, I'll come back to this stuff about the guy on the roof in a little while, but let's go to this clip now of Donald Trump Jr. being interviewed at the convention. This was just a little earlier this evening, or this afternoon, I guess, by a reporter from MSNBC. It did not go well for the reporter. Here, check it out.
What is that change going to look like, Don? What practically, your father as president, I think you would even say, was a divisive figure. What's it going to look like in the second term?
I don't think he was a divisive figure at all. I think the media created divisiveness around him. They lied about Russia collusion. They said he was a traitor. They went after him in every which way possible. if the media actually starts being an honest broker, talking about the things that he did, the prosperity he brought, the peace deals that he signed around the world, rather than the disaster that we're living right now, I think you'd do everyone in the country a big favor.
I know immigration's important to him. I covered the family separation crisis closely. Will we continue to see policies like separating 5,000 children deliberately from their parents?
You mean the Obama administration?
You know they didn't do that, sir.
Okay. Sure.
Will there be a second family separation policy?
It's MSDNC, so I expect nothing less from you clowns. Even today, even 48 hours later, you couldn't wait. You couldn't wait with your lies and with your nonsense. So just get out of here.
Yeah, so par for the course, right? That's the way it goes these days. Here's Vivek Ramaswamy. There's a guy who I think he really wanted to be the VP pick. He did everything he could to schmooze with Donald Trump, suck up to him all the way through, and he was running against Trump. He was really running for Trump. I mean, talk about a guy who was a yes man. Maybe too much of a yes man. Maybe that's why ultimately Trump didn't pick him as his VP running mate. But here's Ramaswamy earlier today.
That has called a Republican president a tyrant, a dictator, said it would be the end of the United States of America as we know it, said he would make us a laughing stock on the global stage. And those are exact quotes, actually, of what they said about Abraham Lincoln. Saw the Lincoln hat. You might have wanted me to remember that. Those were words that the Democrat-led media said about the first ever Republican president before he was shot and assassinated in 1865. So think about that in the moment that we live in today. We came within, Lincoln actually spoke at this convention. It was at a Republican convention. It was at a state convention, Republican state convention, I think in 1858, when he said a house divided cannot stand. That was on the eve of a nation that was on the brink of civil war. I think we came within a hair's breadth of a second civil war in this country, and we avoided it. And I think it's because God intervened. And I believe that he has given us a chance to answer his call. Amen. And I think that's the moment we live in right now. Is the hard part is we are in a kind of war in this country. But the enemy is not our fellow citizens. No, actually, it is an ideology. That's right. And so this is the work we have cut out ahead of us: is how do we win this war while still viewing our neighbors as our fellow citizens and not as our enemy combatants? Are we up to that challenge? I believe we are.
So Ramaswamy comparing Trump to Abraham Lincoln in that clip. High praise. And there's a guy who, well, as I say, he was all in for Trump, right? All the way, even when he was running against him, he was cheerleading for him. I hope he hasn't made another big mistake in his choice of personnel in this running mate, J.D. Vance. But hey, we will see. Look what happened with Pence. Seemed like a good choice at the time, but in the end, didn't see eye to eye, didn't stand with Trump at the very end, did he? And now not very popular with the MAGA crowd at all. So now here's a little bit more on the would-be assassin, Thomas Crooks, 20 years old. Now, I guess we've got confirmation that the weapon he used was an AR-15, allegedly. He told his father, apparently, that he wanted to go target shooting, and this is something that he did on occasion. So when his father would let him use the AR-15 that the father had purchased. So when he asked to use it on the day of the assassination attempt, he told his dad that he wanted to go target shooting. So I guess his dad didn't think anything of it. He said, sure, go ahead. You can take it and go and shoot at the range. But that's not where he went. Obviously, he went to the Trump rally, ended up on that roof. And this is the other thing about information and why we need to be careful about what we share, because just yesterday I made reference to an online social media image that showed what appeared to be a ladder leaning up against the building leading to the roof. And that social media post indicated that that was how Thomas Crooks gained access to the roof. But investigators are saying they don't know how he got on the roof, but they don't think he used a ladder. So the investigation is ongoing. We just still have to wait for real facts. And that kind of post, even from yesterday, can lead people astray and even down rabbit holes. A lot of conspiracy theories out there swirling around. As I said yesterday, I think people have a huge appetite for any kind of conspiracy theory at this point. It's the strangest thing. It's very destructive to the nation, and yet people eat it up. I think it's entertaining for a lot of people. I think that really is sort of one of the roots of all of that. But they're just running rampant, and they started immediately upon the shooting. Now, then there's also this new video that has just emerged. Let me see if I can find it for you here. And just viewer discretion advised, just because in this video, Thomas Crooks makes reference to his private parts. Very short clip. Now, this is him claiming that he's got a fairly large thing. This was apparently a video that was shot back in 2020 at Steele Center Career and Technical Education in Jefferson Hills, Pennsylvania. At the time, so I guess his classmates, Thomas Crook's classmates, say that he was very quiet, but at times would open up. And some of the people who knew him, some of the young people, say that they viewed him sometimes as cool and even friendly and intelligent because he was able to work on computers. Here's the clip. And again, viewer discretion advised just because of the language.
6'4". I go to Stanford University. I have a 10-inch penis and 6'4".
So very short. I don't know if that really tells us much more, or if it's all that helpful, but sensational, I suppose, and that's what's going around tonight. That's the newest thing. Okay, let me just check back in on the convention and see where we're at. Yeah, we're still in a bit of a break over there in Milwaukee, so we'll move on to other news. At the White House, Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre asked if the rhetoric coming from the White House and the Biden administration might change moving ahead now that President Trump has been the victim of an attempted assassination. But it doesn't appear that, while it looks like over time, it won't take long for them to get back to the same kind of language they've been using since Trump first came down the escalator. They're still going to apparently refer to Trump as a threat to democracy. Here's Karine Jean-Pierre on the hot seat at today's media scrum.
The view is that Trump and the MAGA Republican agenda is a threat to democracy. So how do you get that message across while bringing the temperature down? How is that phrasing going to be replaced? Is it going to be replaced?
Well, look, what I can say is this. We have our differences, and it's okay to have our differences. And It is okay to speak to someone's record, to speak to someone's character. That is the difference of that is important to be able to do, to show, right, what the American people, what you're all about. We're just going to continue to denounce violence. It is important to do that, forcefully be against violence. Political violence has no place in America. It should not be. It does not have a place here. The president's going to continue to be very, very forceful about that. But we have a difference of agenda. That is the truth.
So it doesn't look they're talking about dialing down the heat, but they're not. The Biden campaign put everything basically on hold after the shooting, but they're already pivoting back, and the rhetoric is not going to subside. You'll see. It's just going to get worse. This will actually signal, I think, even deeper division. This will not bring people together. You're going to see more conflict in the streets, bigger protests. And you're going to see, I think, Trump's base more united. The way this will, I think, benefit Trump the most is it will take his supporters and motivate them. It will get them out to vote in the end. So that's the big thing. It will take some people out of the undecided column and put them into the Trump camp. It will also take some of those people who maybe were leaning over toward RFK Jr. and pull them back into Trump's camp as well. As for, the hardcore dyed in the wool Democrats, they're not moving. And some of those, and I'd say the hardcore RFK Jr. types, they're not going to come over to Trump either. They'll stick right where they are. But most of those would be Democrat-leaning supporters anyway. So I think you're going to see a bit of a shift, not a huge shift in terms of support in the polling, but you'll see Trump will get a little bit of a bump from this. And then in the end, what it will do is it will motivate the supporters that he has, get them out to the polls, and that will result in the kind of support that will make the difference at the ballot box in November. I think that shooting pretty much decided the election. Pretty much. Nothing's guaranteed. Anything can happen in politics. Things can change very, very quickly. Let's go back to the Republican National Convention now in Milwaukee. Here we go.
I'm the great-great-grandson of a slave. I'm the son of a retired lieutenant colonel. I'm the product of West Point along with my other two siblings. And I risked my life in combat to preserve our nation. Now, there's another man who is putting it all on the line to save our nation. His name is President Donald Trump. And with your help in November, and with his unbending resolve, together we will make America great again. God bless you, Milwaukee. May God continue to bless these United States of America. Thank you.
Please welcome U.S. Army veteran, Representative John James from Michigan's 10th Congressional District.
Good evening, Wisconsin. Warmest regards from Detroit, home of the NFC North champion, Detroit Lions. Oh, in seriousness, didn't Wesley do a great job? One of my West Point classmates, class of 2004, and there's another Midwestern boy who did a great job. Our vice presidential nominee, J.D. Vance. Another Midwestern boy. You know, he's going to need some help when he comes up to Michigan. I'll do everything I can, but he might be the first Buckeye to win in Michigan since last time Trump was in office. But those are two great American dream stories from the Hunt family and from the Vance family, but I have another American dream story to tell you about. It's about a little boy from Starkville, Mississippi, who lived directly across the street from Mississippi State University, but he couldn't go there because he was black. Despite growing up in the Jim Crow South, he refused to let vulnerability become victimhood. He paid his way through college, served honorably in Vietnam, and started a trucking company with one truck, one trailer, and no excuses, hauling beer back and forth between Detroit and Milwaukee. I grew up in awe of that story because it's my dad's story. It's part of my story. He and my mother raised me never telling me that this is a racist country. Never. Even though we have marked blemishes in our past, even though we have much farther to go, even though they endured racism, it did not define the nation they loved. They taught me I could do anything I set my mind to. They taught me to put the Lord first always. They taught me to use my blessings to be a blessing to others. And that's what we're doing here today. That's why I went to West Point. I became a Ranger qualified Apache pilot and flew 750 hours operations in Operation Iraqi Freedom. You know, that's something else me and President Trump have in common. The bad guys shot at us both, but they missed. And we'll keep on fighting for America until the good Lord takes us home. By the grace of God, I was able to come home after my deployment and help run the company business. Now I have the honor of representing Michigan's 10th Congressional District, the #1 manufacturing district in the best state in the entire union. My family's story is the American dream story. But my biggest concern right now, my biggest fear is, will children today be able to look back and share that same story? Look, I firmly believe Americans have not given up on the American dream. Joe Biden and the Democrats have given up on the American dream. Joe Biden and the Democrats think they know how to spend your money better than you do. They want to take your dollars, they want to take your voice, they want to take your control and give it back to DC bureaucrats to execute their woke and Green New Deal agenda. Well, that plan doesn't work because hope is not a plan. Black people were sold on hope. Now our streets are rife with crime. Our kids can't read, and illegals are getting better help from Democrats in 4 days than we've gotten in 400 years. Look, our daughters were sold on hope, and now they're being forced on the playing fields and changing rooms of biological males. America was sold on hope, and now the world's on fire. Our borders are wide open, and Americans are going into debt to pay for their groceries. But look. We don't even have to imagine a brighter day. We just have to remember, under President Donald J. Trump, we had a secure border. Under President Donald J. Trump, we had peace in Europe. And under President Donald J. Trump, we had an economy so good. Democrats were trying to give Obama the credit for it. Look. Yeah, I heard a little bit earlier today, if you don't vote for Donald Trump, you ain't black. But see, here's the thing. By the grace of God and the proven leadership of Donald Trump, for every American, regardless of race, color, and creed. We can once again have a land where a child's outcome isn't determined by their zip code. We can once again have a land where hard work truly does get you ahead. We can once again have a land where you can go from poverty to prosperity in a single generation. I believe that land is still America. America is the greatest idea that's ever been. America, I believe deeply in my heart, America is the greatest idea that's ever been. It's worth fighting for, it's worth sacrificing for, and it's worth getting out to vote for, because I truly believe in the deepest heart of hearts that with Donald J. Trump back in the White House, the best is yet to come. God bless you. Thank you. God bless America.
To show families just
Okay. So we'll go back there momentarily now. Brenda, I saw in the chat over on Rumble, was asking about these t-shirts that we have, that you guys can acquire by donating to the channel, $30 or more. And these are the designs. Again, fighting for freedom. And then we've got the fight design with the Maverick News logo on it. There they are side by side. $30 or more, we can send you one of these shirts. Now, Brenda was asking, would I donate a portion of the proceeds to the families of the victims of the Trump rally shooting? I can tell you this. By the time we get these printed, we have to get at least a dozen of them printed just to sort of make it viable at all, depending on where we ship them. Often when I'm sending these shirts out, to be quite honest, we don't make anything at all. Zero. If sometimes we might make $2, $3, $1 by the time we pay for the shipping. I just shipped a package from here to British Columbia. It cost $36 just to ship it. By the time we pay for the garment, pay the guy that I use here to print the stuff, depending on the volume that we do, that determines the cost, how much we can produce. As I say, we have to get at least a dozen of these things, or I can't even get them printed. So I think we'll get to that, but I don't know exactly how many we'll get. So I don't know if it's even viable to make a promise like that, like we would donate to the families of the victims. I'm not averse to doing that, and we do try to help out a lot of different causes here on the program, as you've seen, different charities coming on, or people with different things that they want people to donate to, and we're often on here allowing people to promote their the different things that they're working for. So I'm always happy to use the platform for that, but I can't make a promise like that, because honestly, I don't know that there is going to be anything to donate, to send in any substantial way to make it meaningful. And if I have more than, because you have all the multiple sizes, we sometimes on these garments, honestly, I'm still in the red. We haven't even made anything on any of the stuff that we've produced. I still have a bunch of stuff over there that, the Maverick News garments, and I have to get some more produced because we don't have certain sizes in stock for people. And it's just, are you getting the picture? It's not lucrative is what I'm saying. But I'm happy to get the stuff produced because people have asked for it. And over time, I'm hoping that it all works out. But no, I can't make a promise that we can donate a portion of this, because I don't think there's going to be anything to donate at the end of the day. We'll be lucky to break even and to support the operation. This whole thing operates at a loss. And that's just the truth of the matter. Believe me, don't believe me, but that's the truth. We're making less than zero operating this news channel every night. So if you want us to stay on, support the channel, because that's when we do that, I can put people on and we can promote their causes, raise awareness, do the work, but we have to pay the darn bills around here. And that's the bottom line. And I'm not going to make promises to charities that, one, either I can't keep, or two, are not meaningful. There's no sense in making a big deal out of donating $10 or something. If we get an order for 12 of these shirts, we'll be doing well here, to be frank. But it's up to you guys. I mean, you want the channel, support the channel. And that's what this is all about tonight. Simple as that. And, I'm thinking we can produce a series of these shirts or other garments to mark, big milestones or big news moments of memory, as sort of an ongoing theme, and make these things available to people. But that's up to you. If you want them, they're there. And if we get enough orders, I'll get these things printed up. It's really that simple. Let's take a little break, and I'll come back, and Dragon will join us on the other side.
Fighting the Great Reset by leading the Great Resistance. Maverick News. The antivirus programs for your mind.
Okay, and let's bring Dragon in. Hello, sir. Oh, did I get you by surprise there? You were looking down. Sorry about that.
No, I was okay. Actually, I was looking at the to reactivate my microphone. So do you hear me good? Everything's fine?
Everything is fine. And oh my goodness, what an elaborate backdrop you have there. You've chroma keyed yourself into the dragon's lair.
Mm-hmm.
Looking...
Well, this is my new logo. How'd you like it?
It looks very... Dragony.
It's a dragon that's passing through a camera lenses, so...
It's a little, I have to be honest, it's a little bit intimidating, a touch scary, kind of surreal, a little bit dark. Yeah. Very
it goes
kind
along
of
with my heavy metal style.
Yeah. So anyway, but there's Dragon in the lair tonight. So let's go back to the Republican National Convention. We have another speaker up on the stage. Here we go.
We'll make America great again.
Please welcome United States Senator Katie Britt of Alabama.
Good evening, Milwaukee. I'm Katie Britt. We are all here tonight for one reason. We need to change the direction of our nation. And Donald Trump is the change we need. To my fellow moms and dads across America, I think we all know that raising a family is hard. Add in smartphones and social media, and we already had plenty to worry about. But then Joe Biden and Kamala Harris came around. Now our lives are that much more difficult and way more expensive. Under Biden-Harris, prices are high and expectations, well, they're low. Grocery prices are up more than 21%. Electricity is up 31%, gas is up 48%, mortgage rates have more than doubled, and rent is skyrocketing. To me, these aren't just numbers. This is pain for millions of Americans. It means that so many American families have to live with so much less. This is too high a price to pay for an administration that has brought us to such lows. The American people won't have the wool pulled over our eyes. We see how Biden and Harris keep making things worse. And we know the current president is not capable of turning things around. His weakness is costing us our opportunity, our prosperity, our security, our safety. Each diminished, all in decline, just like the man in the Oval Office. And it doesn't have to be this way. Under President Trump, we had the strongest economy in history. That's right. You didn't need to go into debt just to make ends meet. Energy dominant, stable prices, secure borders, safe streets, strong families and communities. That's what Donald Trump will deliver. With President Trump, the tough choice was which job offer to accept. Now, it's which second job to take just to pay the bills. Your family can't afford this costly and dangerous decline for 4 more years. 4 more years of Biden-Harris will impose a lifetime of financial damage on our children and our nation. It is time to return President Trump to the White House. Yes. Republicans will put parents, families, and hard-working Americans first. With President Trump back in the White House, we will reawaken the exceptionalism of the greatest nation ever known. We will defeat decline, dust off our dreams, and forge our future. Because families across our nation deserve better. Once again, America will be the land of limitless opportunity for all. And paving that path starts today. So let's roll up our sleeves, send President Trump back to the White House, and get America back on track. God bless.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome United States Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina.
Now, there's another guy who is sort of in the running for VP.
Wow. 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 Thank you so much. Thank you. Hello, Milwaukee. Are you ready for 4 more years of Donald Trump? Oh, me too. Listen, if you didn't believe in miracles before Saturday, you better be believing right now. Thank God Almighty that we live in a country that still believes in the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, the Alpha and the Omega. And our God still saves, he still delivers, and he still sets free. Because on Saturday, the devil came to Pennsylvania holding a rifle, but an American lion got back up on his feet and he roared. Oh yeah, he roared. Yeah, yes he did. Yes, he did. You see, America, this is a difficult time for our nation. Inflation is crushing families. Illegal immigration is crushing American workers. Failing schools and victimhood culture are crushing our poorest kids. And the weakness of the commander-in-chief has invited world wars all around our world. Joe Biden is asleep at the wheel and we're headed over a cliff. We hear despair in the voices of a millennial couple raising 2 kids in a 1-bedroom apartment because they can't afford a house. We see pain on the faces of Gold Star parents because their commander-in-chief, Joe Biden, literally forgets their son died in uniform on his watch. America, we deserve better. We deserve so much better. I was raised by a single mom in poverty. We had plastic spoons, not silver spoons. But she taught me to work hard, to take responsibility, and reject victimhood. Thank God for my wonderful mama. I know this is going to offend the liberal elites. Every time I say it, it offends them. But let me say it one more time. America is not a racist country. No, we're not. But if you were looking for racism today, you'd find it in cities run by Democrats. Look on the south side of Chicago. Poor black kids trapped in failing schools, thousands shot every single year, including one of my former interns, Daquan. But there's good news. It's conservative values that restores hope. It's Republican policies that lifts people up. I partnered with the greatest president of my generation, President Donald J. Trump. On the biggest tax cuts ever for working people and single moms, and opportunity zones for neighborhoods that need them most. But Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, they give illegal immigrants free hotel rooms while our veterans sleep on the streets. Disgusting, disgusting. Trump secured our border once, and Donald Trump will secure it again. This November, this November, we are not deciding simply the fate for the next 4 years. We're setting a course for the next 40 years. I see our heartland filled with huge American factories, powered by abundant American energy, building what America needs, creating generational wealth for blue-collar workers. You see, we are the Republican Party of Frederick Douglass and of Abraham Lincoln, of Ronald Reagan and Donald Trump. But we, 4 more years. I love it. Awesome. We are not simply the party of our leaders. We are also the party of a young woman in Wisconsin taking over her family farm, an Hispanic father working 16-hour days in Nevada, and a Black teenager in Philly starving for opportunity. We're not just the grand old party of the past. We are the great opportunity party of America's future. And there's only, hear me clearly, and there's only one person who can make that vision a reality: Donald J. Trump. God bless America.
Okay. We'll pause on that for a little bit while we have a little musical interlude and come back over here to Dragon in the lair. Well, welcome, sir, and I'll welcome your initial comments.
Well, have you seen, well, their basis has been galvanized already. You know, they are strong and poison their words. They know how to push the little button because, you know, Trump has been, as you know, attempted of being assassinated. And, well, yeah, they are doing what they are doing, you know, just pushing their... It's what it is, man. We have saying already that they were, it was about to galvanize more of their speech. And we see that already. We are using that as an advantage, strategically speaking, as a political analysis.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, I'm just looking in the chat here on Rumble, just checking a couple of things. I was a little distracted there, so I was only kind of half hearing what you were saying. Now, we were speaking on the phone earlier, and you'd been sort of looking into, you know, the latest information on the investigation into the attempted assassination of Trump. And where did you end up with all of that, Dragon, this afternoon or this evening? Where are we at with that?
Well, we have some report from the Sky News. Well, Sky News is actually Australian, I think. And well, their analysis says that there were probably some tree hiding the shooter from the authorities. That was probably the thing that we can probably think about what happened. So that's why this guy wasn't spot on at the first moment.
So you're saying that Sky News is reporting that there might have been a tree between the building where
and
the
Secret
Service, so the Secret Service couldn't see him because of a tree.
Yeah, but that's another that's another story. I mean, I've been looking also at some other story, and there's one here that, if I can remember who it was, I think it was, geez, which one this was? I got to make better notes next time. There's actually, the idea is that, what is it? What is it again? I got it here. Yeah, so there's other reports, all right, that was saying that strategically, okay, the police was supposed to be the one who was looking at this perimeter, because the farm was a
you mean the local police were supposed
yeah,
to
the
be.
local police was supposed to be looking at those buildings around, because the building that the shooter have used was a business. So
yeah, now there's the image from Sky News where they're making reference to the tree that may have blocked the view of the snipers. So you can see it's, I can't enlarge it any more than that for you folks, but as you can see, that red line, that's the line of sight from where the gunman was situated on the roof, and Trump to the right, armed security on the roof of those other these three buildings, one at the very far end, one closer at this far end, those two yellow lines, and the sniper closest to the gunman. Apparently, according to this diagram, may have had his line of sight blocked by a tree on the left-hand side there. As you can see, that yellow line indicating that there may have been a visual obstruction. Nevertheless, in the end, the sniper was very accurate and was able to neutralize the target.
Yeah, well, from the analysis from that point that I've uncovered, it was really a dive-in intervention that, saved Trump this day, because at the moment that he was speaking, he was probably looking on one direction. The guy was probably spotting the temple of Trump. But at the moment that he's, turning his face around to speak to another part of the attendees, this is where the bullet just straight out around his ears, and this is where he got hit. So he was very, very lucky. And
now, last night I found additional footage and put together, after the program was over, I put together another separate video, which I posted online, showing witnesses trying to alert authorities to where the shooter was. And it's amazing what just watch this. I mean, it's self-explanatory, and the shooter was seen crawling up the side of the roof. Just check it out. See, this new footage just revealed shows an absolute failure of security. The perimeter was not secure.
Yeah, someone's on top of the roof. Look. There he is right there. Right there, see him? He's laying down. See him?
Yeah, he's laying down.
And still I'm here with you fighting like hell to get a Senate.
What's happening?
And to make sure we take back the White House, because if we do, we're going to make America better than ever before. We're going to make it.
Yeah, look. There he is.
Easy, because we have millions and millions of people in our country that shouldn't be here. Dangerous people. Criminals. We have criminals. We have drug dealers. We have people that should not be here.
Right on the roof.
It's much tougher than it happens.
You went right on the roof, big guy.
And we know the rest of the story. Very, very concerning. I have to say, after seeing that, no question in my mind, failure, by Secret Service and local police. Somebody really dropped the ball. Somebody was not doing their job. They let this guy get up on that roof. How did he get up there? I don't know. Was there a ladder? Wasn't there a ladder? Was he hiding the night before? Did he just show up the day of? Like, we don't know. We just don't know. All we know is
I'm not
the guy
sure.
was on the roof.
I'm not sure. I probably have seen a makeshift sort of ladder, but like if you would put some chairs and plank around to climb on to get that's what I probably have seen real quick, because the image is really going far fast around. So I mean, you can't make it up much, but that's probably my idea.
Somebody really screwed up.
From one of the report that I've been looking at, and that's one of my sources that says that Anthony Guglielmi, which is one of the Secret Service spokesmen, that have said something along the way that it was on the task of the police and the authority of
the local police,
and
to
they
secure
had
that
failed.
particular building, and they didn't do it.
Yeah, they had failed this on their task, and they are blaming that on the laws
On
authority.
the local authorities. Let's go.
Of the home of Washington, Jefferson, Madison, and Monroe, the great Commonwealth of Virginia. Tonight, we stop for a moment. We ask for God's grace to be on innocent victims. We ask him to be with their families. We thank him for this moment of unity. And we thank him for protecting our next president, Donald J. Trump. And tonight, our nation can have the conversation that so many families have at their kitchen tables. Yes, those tough conversations. How do we make it all work? The conversation young families from Midlothian, Virginia till Milwaukee, Wisconsin, whose dreams of buying a home have been shattered by 7.5% mortgage rates. The veterans from Fredericksburg, Virginia to Phoenix, Arizona, whose raises can't keep up with 30% increases in grocery prices and 40% increases in gas. The retirees from Roanoke, Virginia to Reno, Nevada, whose fixed income has been crushed by the silent thief of inflation unleashed by Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Tonight, America, the land of opportunity, just doesn't feel like that anymore. But 8 years ago, there was an outsider, a businessman, who stepped out of his career to rebuild a great nation with the strongest economy, the mightiest military, energy independence, unlimited opportunity, lifting up every American. That outsider businessman was Donald J. Trump, and he will do it again. I'm proud to be a homegrown Virginian, from a family like a lot of families, with ups and downs and highs and lows. My mom was a nurse, and she was my hero. She pulled our family together after my dad lost his job. At 15, washing dishes and flipping eggs, I learned that there is dignity in work. At the height of the pandemic 4 years ago, I asked my amazing wife, Suzanne, to go on a walk with me. I told her I planned to quit my job and run for governor. She looked at me with tears in her eyes and a quivering lip and asked, "Governor of what?" We prayed together, and we asked God for guidance and wisdom. And we said if elected, we would serve. After 12 years of only electing Democrats statewide, in November 2021, Virginians elected a Republican outside businessman as their 74th governor. And I believe this year, Virginia will elect another Republican outside businessman as President of the United States. President Trump proved that common sense conservative leadership works. It works for America. And we're proving it in Virginia, too. $5 billion of tax relief, backing the blue. Slashing red tape, declaring loudly that, yes, parents matter. And creating jobs, lots of jobs. Virginia now has record job growth, and we were just named America's top state for business. Friends, could this election be more simple? It's common sense versus chaos. It's strength versus weakness. Friends, it's not just Republicans who see this. It's Republicans, independents, and lots of Democrats. It's Americans. Under President Trump, America had high growth and low inflation. Under Joe Biden, America has low growth and high inflation. 66% of Americans now live paycheck to paycheck. Moms and dads worrying, can they buy new shoes for their kids going back to school? Can they write the tuition check for college? Will they ever be able to retire? Under President Trump, 2.4 million Americans were lifted out of poverty. Women, Black Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans all saw record low employment. Under Donald J. Trump, we once again will have that rip-roaring economy that lifts up all Americans. That is our tomorrow. A tomorrow where work is celebrated, where taxes are cut and inflation is slashed, where we cut red tape, where we unleash American energy dominance, where businesses proudly say, "Made in America." Where entrepreneurs dream and small businesses thrive, where Americans from any background can pour their God-given talents into building their American dream. This is the moment. This is our moment to make America the land of opportunity again. A nation built on a basic truth that we are granted certain unalienable rights, not by a king, but by an almighty creator. And that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Our foundational principles are non-negotiable. They are inscribed on our national soul. My fellow Americans, the spirit of hope is spreading. Everyone can feel it, and it will sweep across this nation when we elect Donald J. Trump, the 47th President of the United States. May God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Please welcome the CEO of Boya Foods, America First Policy Institute,
Okay.
and chairman of.
And we'll go back to them in a little while, I guess. See how things go. So, what else you got for me tonight, Dragon? Anything? We've got footage outside.
Well, what do I have? I got some. Well, I had the idea actually to ask, to answer some question to some people, because I've heard a lot of question about why didn't the authority that take out the threat before he shoots, stuff like that, right? Authority had plenty time probably to take him out. Mm-hmm. But there's some rules and there's also some legislature or some laws behind the whole situation that might have come into play that this is why the Secret Service or the authority didn't shoot the threat before having a confirmation of the threat in front of the last president. So this is what's going on. What I'm referring to is the rules of engagement.
Engagement.
Yeah. On the rules of engagement, you got some rules that is kind of called do not attack someone or engage before being engaged. So the idea is that if I see you with a gun, I'm not going to shoot you till you probably open fire. And this is how the thing goes, right? I mean, they will try to oblige the person not to shoot or do something like that. But in that situation, everything goes very fast. It's dangerous. And there's a lot of things that needs to be looked at. As, for example, the security of the attendees and the public on around the Trump rally. So, yeah, this is one thing that we have to look at.
Are you sure that? Okay, I'm going to look up what the actual rules of engagement are for presidential Secret Service duty snipers. Here's what I've got. The rules of engagement for snipers on presidential Secret Service duty are highly classified and not publicly disclosed for security reasons. However, some general principles and guidelines can be inferred from common practices and protective details involving high-profile individuals like the president. Authorization. Snipers operate under strict orders and authorization from the Secret Service command structure. They do not act independently, but rather as part of a coordinated security plan. Snipers are trained to use lethal force only as a last resort to protect the life of the president or other designated protectees. They are typically instructed to shoot only if they have a clear and imminent threat to neutralize. Target identification. Positive identification of the threat is crucial before taking any action, as I stated last night. This involves ensuring that the target is indeed a threat and not a bystander or another member of the security detail. Escalation of force. Snipers may be part of a broader spectrum of force where lethal force is the most extreme measure. They may have non-lethal options available depending on the situation. Snipers maintain constant communication with the rest of the security team to ensure situational awareness and to coordinate actions effectively. And then there are legal and ethical considerations, which I also mentioned last night. Any use of force, including lethal force by snipers, must comply with both domestic and international laws governing the use of force and armed conflict. So overall, the rules of snipers on presidential Secret Service duty are designed to prioritize the protection of the president while minimizing risk to bystanders and maintaining operational security. So these rules are likely to be, fluid, dynamic, adjusted based on specific threats, locations.
So this is a legal and ethical point of the of the aspect of the situation that they need to look at, right? So.
Now, yeah, and I'm certain that these snipers have a pre-authorization to open fire if they see an imminent threat. So when they're looking at, they're there surveilling the area. They're looking out over that crowd constantly, over to that other building. If they see someone crawling on the roof with a rifle, and they know that and they can be sure that it's not another member of their Secret Service or team or another police officer, if that's an imminent threat, they can open fire before that guy pulls the trigger. Before the shooter gets a chance to fire, they absolutely can fire beforehand, but they need to be sure. And that's what I said last night. I would not want to be the sniper. I wouldn't want to be the guy in that position because that's a lot of pressure. That's a huge responsibility. You make a mistake, you could kill an innocent person. You make a mistake, you are probably done like dinner for the rest of your life. Like your career is over.
Mhm.
You could be hauled into court. Like there's some degree of immunity, if you want to call it that, protection, because you're a sniper and you're there doing your job. So if you know, if you're acting in good faith, if you are acting on credible information, you know, all of these questions would come up. If someone were to be shot who was innocent by mistake, if the mistake were to be made, nevertheless, you would never, as a sniper, you know, your career would never recover. You might end up like it would be over for you if you made a mistake like that.
It's
What
like
an
a driving
intense man,
permit. You lose some point when you kind of kill somebody that is not the target, right?
No, it's, you know, it's such a huge responsibility.
Yeah.
You need to be sure before you pull that trigger. At the same time, you can't hesitate, because if you do, the president is dead. So what an intense job, what an immense responsibility. And
Well,
yet,
I've been listening to some podcasts and some snipers that were at wars, right? That tell you that, you know, when you got someone into your scope and you're looking at that next victim, if you will, I mean, you kind of feel for this guy, but you are also trained to be neutral. And I mean, if this person has to go, well, this person has to go. When the guy in the hairs tell you that you need to pull the trigger, you go.
but you know, if you're in a theater of war, it's a totally different environment than it is when you're covering the president on a detail like a rally, where you know, you have essentially, you know, it's all civilians. It's people there from the local community, just Americans out to see the candidate and participate in this rally, right? So 99.99999% of the time, everything is just normal. There's no threat. You're sitting there looking for a possible threat, but there isn't a threat. If you happen to see, like, how do you know the difference? You need to identify it. You need to be sure. It's not like being in a war zone where you know all the guys over on that side. You know, you're basically looking for other snipers or shooters or
No, but
people with, you know,
CIA
it's
actually,
different.
or Secret Service are actually trained to look at people demeanors, people behaviors,
Oh, yes.
and pick up the one needle in the haystack that is
Yes.
the probable threat, you know?
Well, they're trained, but nevertheless, even if you identify a threat, you want to make sure that before you pull the trigger and kill the person, that they're actually in a position where they are a threat. Otherwise, you want to effect an arrest. You only want to use lethal force as a last resort. And unfortunately, in this case, the gunman managed to fire off anywhere between 6 and 8 or maybe more shots. It still isn't clear to me exactly how many were fired before they were able to neutralize the target. But, you know, not an easy job, man. Not an easy job at all.
Yeah, well, on one podcast, one sniper that was analyzing the situation or the footage said that when you hear a pop, okay, normally on the rifle, and that kind of rifle allegedly used for the assassination
An
or
AR-15,
attempt,
yeah.
when you hear the pop, you're supposed to hear a second pop. The second pop is when actually the bullet takes off the cannon. So you hear the first pop when the hammer hits the bullet, but you hear a second pop when that bullet takes off. So basically, that you hear, it's basically one shot, if I'm not mistaken from what I've heard. So that's one way to see it. So people that likes to see it and probably that want to analyze the thing.
The problem is there's so much, you know, armchair quarterbacking going on and so much speculation. And yeah, some of these guys, they're snipers. I've seen very credible people with, you know, speaking from places of authority, right? Because they are professional snipers or whatever. But at the same time, they don't know. They don't know what the investigators know. They weren't there. I saw one guy saying, "Oh, it was absolutely an inside job." Well, how do you know? You don't know. All we know is that guy got up on the roof, and that's all we know. We don't know how. We don't know why. We don't really know that much about him. All the information, has been basically taken down off social media about this guy. There's very little out there. We don't know very much about this guy at all. So anybody who's telling you that they know that it was this or they know that it was that, they don't know very much of anything, and it's not really all that helpful, to be frank. It's just I want facts, as always. I want real information, not just a bunch of people blah 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 on podcasts and live streams. People want to talk about it, and we're talking about it here, but at the same time, I just want to
I've
stick
heard
to
a lot of
facts,
rabbit
right?
hole around there, and I mean it's not cool. I mean, there's a lot of thing going on. There's a lot of people trying to push up some whatever propaganda or false rumor, and it's not pretty good. I mean, we don't have enough fact yet by the authority, and even if the authority has some fact, they will not take those facts outside and known to the public before they know everything, and they make sure that it's going to be thorough because it's the president or the ex-president. So, I mean, it is very important, and I think that they will take care of this investigation pretty seriously. So,
Yeah. Well, we have other news going on too. Believe it or not, there is other stuff going on in the world. It isn't getting all that much attention tonight. What else? Let's see what we have. There was this guy in Canada. Let me see if I can find this here. This is the trucker who caused that crash involving. Oh, hang on. I got to get rid of that audio in my ear. So I had loud audio pumped into my headphones. Remember that Humboldt Broncos bus crash in Canada that resulted in that tragedy out Western Canada?
Yep.
So that driver, the truck driver who caused that deadly crash, was given a deportation order in May. His name is Jaskrit Singh Sidhu, and his permanent resident status was revoked. He's from India, got here to Canada in 2014. And so back in 2018, when he was living in Calgary, just a new truck driver barreled through a stop sign into the path of the junior hockey team's bus in Tisdale, Saskatchewan. 16 people on the bus killed, 13 injured. He entered a plea of guilty to dangerous driving. And he has applied to have his permanent resident status returned so that he can continue to live here in Canada. So, of course, a lot of people opposed to that, not happy about, it raised a lot of questions about adequate training for truck drivers and truck driver safety, things of that nature. And now this rekindling all of those concerns tonight as he applies to have that status reinstated. That was our American friends maybe are not entirely clued into what that story is about, but it was a huge national story here in Canada at the time and still resonates. So what else do we have? We're kind of getting up near the top of the hour here. We're going to check back in here. We've got another speaker. Hang on here. And so actually, let me just correct that story. So the most up-to-date information on that truck driver story is that he's lost his bid to stay in Canada. So his bid has been rejected, so he is still not going to be able to stay in the country. So he's applied for it, but not going to happen.
Well, sadly.
So there you go. Anyway, it's getting near the top of the hour here, Dragon, and we're going to probably wrap up here shortly. I'm just going to take us back to the convention here for a moment. Another speaker up as we speak.
Well, if you want me to give you a last word for the moment.
Well, here, let me just bring this up. Hang on. Here we go.
Oh, we got some news.
When other states were pushing mandates and lockdowns, instead in South Dakota,
Christine
we
Nome.
hit the gas. We embraced liberty. We told our story and we invited people to come and to enjoy our beautiful state. Now, all of the things that conservatives have always talked about, we just did it, and it worked. Our economy took off, and since I've been governor, we broke the national record for the lowest unemployment rate in American history at 1.8%. In South Dakota, everybody works. We paid off state debts and bonds. We fixed dams and bridges. We built roads. We have a fully funded pension plan and a AAA credit rating. We broke records for surpluses, and we balance our budget every single year. And last year in South Dakota, we passed the largest tax cut in South Dakota history. Under my administration, incomes in our state have gone up 36%. Women-owned businesses are thriving. We also have the highest birth rate in the nation. People are having babies because they're happy. And in South Dakota, we love babies. Our mental health challenges have gone down, our suicide rates are declining, and we are the #1 state in the country for a decline in overdoses because people have hope. We're growing so fast that we needed more workers to catch up. So we launched the most successful workforce recruitment campaign in the history of South Dakota. And they have come by the thousands to join us and to live with us. Do you guys remember those ads when I was a really lousy plumber and a really terrible electrician? Do you remember those? Well, since we started those ads, we have seen a 78% increase in licensed plumbers in the state of South Dakota. We've seen a 44% increase in electricians in our state. Now, people aren't moving to South Dakota for our beaches or for our beautiful January weather. They are moving to our state for opportunity and for freedom. And all of this happened because our people were bold. We took action, and I was strong. Now, South Dakota proved that freedom will make America wealthy again. And with President Trump in the White House, with Senator J.D. Vance by his side, we will prove it across America. Listen, 2 days ago, the whole world changed. Evil displayed itself in the very worst way, through a cowardly act. An innocent American lost his life, and we will continue to lift his family up in our prayers every single day. Prior to this week, we already knew that President Donald Trump was a fighter. He is the toughest man that I have ever met. Nobody has endured more than what he has gone through. They've attacked his reputation, they impeached him, they tried to bankrupt him, and they unjustly prosecuted him. But even in the most perilous moment this week, his instinct was to stand and to fight. Donald J. Trump is our man in the arena. He will never stop fighting for us. He will never stop, and now he is bringing all of us together. Now, I know that many of you are angry, but now is the time to unite. And we have to get to work. We have to win the hearts and minds of every single American. Wake them up with truth and with wisdom. We need to listen to them. You can't win people over by arguing with them. Visit with your neighbors, at your job, at your church, at the gas station, or even at the grocery store. Listen, there are moments in our history, often after great hardship and tragedy, when true leaders unite our country. At one time, President Lincoln, he united our country. He delivered my favorite presidential address of all time. In fact, it's the only speech or poem or song that I ever made my kids memorize when they were young, when they were little. It was the Gettysburg Address, and it was delivered during our nation's bloodiest conflict. That speech so inspired people that they continued to fight for years, and they lost loved ones in order to preserve this union we call the United States of America. Now, at that time, President Lincoln encouraged us to take increased devotion, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that a government of the people, by the people, and for the people shall not perish from this earth. Like Lincoln, in the midst of our pain and division, Donald Trump is calling us to be touched by the better angels of our nature. As Paul wrote in 2 Timothy, God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and a sound mind. We must not be afraid. Even in our darkest days, we have never once given up hope. So don't quit on America. If we lose this country, where else will we go that provides more freedom and opportunity for our kids and our grandkids? And I've got 3 grandkids, and I'm counting on a whole lot more. And yes, democracy can be messy, but there is a great invisible strength to a people's union. We have shown the world that we can endure sacrifice and that we can still unite. We should still aspire to be worthy of this union, America. President Donald J. Trump is the leader we need for such a time as this. So now, I need you to get to work. Get out there, go do it. Don't quit. Keep fighting, keep uniting, keep talking to people, win the hearts and minds, and may God bless you, and may God continue to bless the great United States of America. Thank you.
Donald Trump's surprise visit to a construction site, hundreds.
Okay. So that's the convention kicking off. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, about the AG Vance. Well, you have said a few things in the past against Trump, you know, being a never Trumper kind of guy or something along these way, right? And, well, people were saying, and I've seen on medias, guys saying like, why did he change his mind? What happened? Or stuff like that. So, I mean, look, as the strategic way, it is probably profitable for both of them to be aligned together as president and vice president. And the other fact is that, probably after a few talks, Vance has probably changed his mind about Trump and probably has viewed Trump as a good candidate. So,
well,
that's my opinion, but I mean,
I guess he better change his opinion now that now that he's been named the running mate. So I'm just checking to see when Trump is supposed to speak. So he's picked JD Vance, announced it today. He'll make it official at the convention. Just do me a favor there, Dragon. Just look up the schedule on your end as well. Between the two of us, we'll find out exactly when he's supposed to speak. When is he supposed to speak? When is he supposed to speak? I don't have the time in front of me here. I'm trying to find it for you folks.
I'm on it. That should be good here.
I'm sorry, folks. I just don't know, and I don't want to mislead you. I do want to correct, too, because I was fumbling my words with that story about the trucker. And I can tell you that, so that I can clarify, he was ordered to be deported. Some of the families of the victims in that truck bus crash, they wanted him deported, and that is what was ordered. Now, he is applying to have his permanent residency reinstated on compassionate humanitarian grounds, and he does have some groups supporting him in that regard, and that is still all up in the air. But his bid before to stay in the country was not granted, and so he is still facing deportation at this time. But some people supporting him, especially some people in the in the Indian community out in Saskatchewan. So we'll see where that all ends up. Do you have the schedule there?
No, I didn't find it. For Trump, let's see about Trump, because I was actually probably on the wrong one, but I got it. Next time Trump will be next rally, say, because sometimes my computer goes a little bit wild on me, so I'm sorry about that, folks.
Yeah, so they've got a lot of people speaking. I think even Tucker Carlson is supposed to speak. Laura Trump, Nikki Haley, Marco Rubio. So I don't even know if they've actually got a hard and fast time for Trump. What I'm seeing here is that typically the vice presidential nominee speaks Wednesday. So that is likely when we'll hear from JD Vance.
Thursday, July 18, 2024. Is going to be delivering. Hold on. Delivered to the GOP nomination speech at the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee. Scheduled for 8 p.m.
Okay, so about 8 p.m. on Thursday. That's Eastern time?
Yep.
Should be. Yeah, 8 p.m. Eastern on Thursday. So we'll be live at that time, and we will bring Trump's speech at the RNC convention to you live at that time. I don't know that we will continue to go to the convention through the week. It'll if there are specific speakers that are worthy of attention, we will certainly bring you that as our coverage continues this week. But we're not going to go wall to wall or anything with coverage on the convention this week. But we'll go there as needed. And Dragon, I will throw
Yes, sir.
for a final thought tonight.
Well,
prepare to wrap.
If you want a beautiful final thought, I love the T-shirt that you've made. The Fight for Freedom one is beautiful. I want some of these some days, so I'm gonna get some of that for sure. Final thought: stay positive, guys. Always look at the bright side. There's always truth everywhere, but you got to look at the right place to see it. So you know where to go. Maverick News is one of these. So tune in and make sure that you got the thumbs up, right? Because we need to feed that.
That's right. And yeah, these are the shirts. So again, if you want one of these shirts, $30 donation or more to the channel, and we can send you one of these, or multiples if you want. Here's a close-up on that design, and here's a close-up on that design. Just tell me which one you want.
Oh, well, the first one is the best. Fight for Freedom is beautiful.
You like that one, eh? Yeah, I like that too.
I mean, look, we're going to commemorate this historical moment. So, yeah.
Yeah, I like the Fight for Freedom one too. If I do say so myself, I designed that. Not that I designed it. That's photo shopping and
this
like
design
that, right?
behind me is actually an AI thing that I've used. So I mean,
it looks a lot like Mortal Kombat, actually. So yeah,
yeah, I know. I got another one somewhere that is probably
in any event. Yeah, you can if you want one of those shirts, or if you just want to donate to the channel, you can do that at freedomreporters.com, or you can donate also at maverickdonations.com. And again, folks, please thumbs up. It would really help us a lot if you hit the thumbs up on the YouTube and Rumble channels. And if you haven't subscribed on those channels, please consider doing that. That helps us a lot too. And the thumbs up and subscriptions, they cost nothing. And that's a great way to support the channel without having to spend any money at all.
I will put it this way. YouTube is very egocentric, so they need a lot of thumbs up to, keep that egos to others, right? I mean, poor guys, they don't know what to do else.
So there you go. So we will wrap up for the evening. Thanks everybody for joining us again here on the Maverick News Channel. Thank you, Dragon, for joining us from the Dragon's Lair tonight. And we will be back.
My pleasure, as always.
Tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. See you all on the flip side.
This has been a Maverick Multimedia production.